We're here to bring a new type of news show.
New insights, new styles, and new topics every day.
We are News Generation.
Bringing news just for you. It's Monday, April 15th here in Seoul. I'm Isujin, and this is News Generation. And joining us for the first time today to represent Gen Z is Hire.
Great to be here today.
Great to have you, and also June's with us today.
Happy Monday, Sujin.
Monday, and both are here to speak on behalf of people in their 20s and 30s. So we're kicking off a brand new work week, and what better way to start than by looking at a major event that got underway late last week. It's a tour many are already calling the most anticipated of the year and possibly even a record breaker. But before we dive into all that, let's meet our newest panelist. So it's his first time joining us, and he'll be bringing a Gen Z perspective to the table, as you can tell by his name tag. So Hayo, can you start us off by telling us a bit about yourself?
Yeah, so hello everybody. It's great to meet you all today. My name is Hayo Park and I'm from South Korea. I'm currently working as a cabin crew member, and I really enjoy exploring new insights and discussing new topics every day, of course. So I'm very excited and happy to be here. So once again, thank you for having me today. And actually, I've been a very long time fan of you all.
We're also really excited to have you on today. So as I mentioned before, we're diving into the kickoff of BTS's 아리랑 World Tour, which finally got underway last week. And from the massive crowd to the global buzz, it already feels like this could be one of the most defining tours yet. So what's the reaction been like to the 아리랑 tour so far, Chien?
Well, I'm sure you've read several articles during the weekend about BTS' latest concert. Yes, BTS has officially kicked off their concert 아리랑 tour on the 9th of April. That was last Thursday at Koyang Stadium, performing in front of more than 40,000 fans. Fans traveled from both Korea and abroad, and in fact, lots of Korean celebrities joined their tour, including actress Hajiwon Ko-soyoung, actor Park Hyung-sik, and Park Seo-joon, proving just how popular BTS concerts are. With all 7 members reunited after completing their solo activities and military service, the atmosphere was full of excitement. Well, one fan from the UK even dressed in a purple hanbok, or Korean traditional attire. Purple, by the way, is BTS' signature color, and we are all wearing purple right now. Well, it showed how global and dedicated their fan base is indeed. And what makes this tour even more special, more significant, is that the 아리랑 album became the first by a Korean solo artist, that is, to stay at #1 on the Billboard 200 for 2 consecutive weeks, 2 weeks in a row. International media have been hailing their activities, BTS, as a cultural phenomenon. And this tour is expected to draw lots of people. That will be 144,000 fans across multiple shows, massive scale indeed. And one of the most talked about moments was everyone singing along to 아리랑 all together last week. I'm sure you know about this. 떼창 in Korean, singing along. We talked about this a lot in News Gen before. Right, well, if this created a powerful and emotional moment during the concert, and if you have ever seen these 떼창 sing along, well, you get some goose pimples on your arms or whatever. Well, and of course, you know what to say right now. 보라해 or I purple you.
And in fact, seeing them perform and seeing them sing 아리랑 especially, it's because it's such a traditional song for us.
I know.
Seeing all these global fans sing that, it was incredible. Right. And it really does sound like this tour is more than just a series of concerts. It's almost a cultural moment, especially with the global response and that massive crowd energy. And beyond the fan experience, it also speaks just how demanding and high level these performances are behind the scenes, which BTS is known for. So how tough are their songs and their choreography to kind of pull off Hire?
Oh yeah, so actually I think today I'm here for this question. So from my personal experience, I actually spent about 4 to 5 years as a K-pop trainee in the past. Of course, that's a long time ago. So during the time, BTS was already at the very top of the industry, much like they are today, of course. And I still remember covering a lot of their songs myself, and even trainees coming in for auditions would very often choose BTS tracks. So I've seen firsthand how challenging their music and choreography can be. And you know what? Actually, it really takes an incredible amount of time and effort, discipline, and consistency as well. So when I was a trainee, I still remember their choreography was very detailed, physically demanding sometimes, and fast-paced. So even learning it was very challenging. And performing it live while singing together was something many trainees saw as their major goal. So, and because of that level of difficulty, I think it makes their ability to deliver such large scale and also high quality of concerts, especially over such a long period of time, even more impressive. And as Juhyun just mentioned, actually a large number of fans have already joined Arirang Tour concert. And I think that really shows how high the expectations were before, and actually more importantly, how well BTS has lived up to them.
And I hope one day we can see a bit of that choreography from you. So that really puts into perspective just how demanding BTS's performances are, not just for fans watching, but even for the trainees trying to keep up, which makes their longevity even more impressive, especially knowing the level of skill and discipline required behind the scenes. And that's why we're going to talk more about this. But first, let's take a look at the screen. BTS's World Tour kicked off in Goyang on Thursday, and it's on track to become the largest K-pop concert tour in history. That excitement was unmistakable, with electrifying energy at the venue and an outpouring of reactions from fans around the world, setting the stage for a bigger conversation. Today on News Generation, we explore the secret behind BTS's enduring success, even during the hiatus, and why their music continues to resonate globally, and what lies ahead for the biggest K-pop act today. Just as we saw in the video, BTS continues to deliver strong results even during the hiatus. And that raises a key question about what's behind their lasting success after all these years. So what's behind their continuing success even after their hiatus?
Well, in fact, lots of experts, they analyze the rise of BTS. What was the factors behind their success? Well, in fact, BTS stayed strong during the hiatus, during the military service as well, because they have always been close to each other since the beginning. It was all because of their strong bond, friendship, teamwork, and of course their closeness as well. Well, in K-pop industry, I'm sure Hayo knows about this term, the well-known term 7-year curse. It refers to the certain point at which many groups face member departures, even disbandment of the group. For example, groups like 4 Minute and Sister eventually disbanded around their 7th year, and BTS felt that pressure as well. And in fact, during the 2018 Mama Taesang acceptance speech, Jin revealed that the group had seriously considered disbanding because it was mentally challenging for them. And Sugar also shared the outro Tear album was written when the band was considering a breakup. So as you can see, BTS didn't hide their struggles, their difficulties. They was actually sharing their problems with their fans, and that honesty made fans trust them even more. And after that, BTS became the first Korean group to hit #1 on the Billboard 200 and has done it 7 times. So from almost breaking up to breaking records.
That's great. And then that honesty and the trust it built within the team seems to have also played a huge role. And beyond that, their connection with listeners has only grown stronger. So why is BTS's music resonate so strongly with the public?
Well, yeah, so we can see a significant increase in new listeners on platforms like Spotify, with reports saying that the number has risen by over 690%. Wow. And I think that is quite a remarkable figure, and it suggests that BTS's music continues to reach a much wider audience. So one of the key reasons behind this popularity is the strong narrative that they have built over time. So starting from songs like No More Dream, which captured the frustrations of youth, to the Most Beautiful Moment in Life series that portrayed uncertainties of growing up, and later the Love Yourself series that focused on self-acceptance and comfort. Here we can see their music has evolved alongside their own journey. So very naturally, because of that, listeners do not just consume their music, but they grow with it. And on top of that, their performances have consistently maintained a very high level of quality, which makes the overall experience even more impactful. And I also think their relatability plays an important role. So in the recent documentary released on Netflix, BTS The Return, the members described themselves not as icons of an era, but as ordinary artists. So that kind of perspective absolutely helps reduce the distance between them and their audience.
Right. So it's not just about the music, but the story and growth that people really are able to connect with. And of course, behind that journey is a global fan base that's always stood by them. So what role have the fans played in their success, Jian?
Well, I do believe that you know this fact. Without the fans, there will be no BTS in this world. ARMY, that's the group name, that's the fans' name, fan base name. ARMY have always been a strong and steady support behind BTS. In fact, the latest album sold 3.98 million copies on its very first day, setting a new personal record. What's particularly interesting is that fans are no longer seen as just consumers. They are increasingly described as a value-based community. This means that they share meaning and direction in life through BTS messages in their songs. ARMY fans come together and do good things like donating and volunteering as well. They clean up after concerts, Hayu is going to explain later on, and they do donate during crisis that was during COVID-19, and even match BTS $1 million donations as well. When BTS donated first, the fans followed afterwards. And this goes beyond fandom. Its influence, it's a positive influence on this society indeed.
And these examples shows how the fandom has evolved beyond just support into something bigger and also meaningful. And in many ways, that connection seems to translate into real-world action as well. So how else has ARMY support shown up beyond just music, Hayo?
Yeah, so actually there was very touching moment, very memorable moment that we could see at the very recent concert held in Gwanghwamun area. So even after the performance ended and the lights went out, there was another memorable moment that stood out. So as the large crowd began to disperse, a group of fans wearing purple sashes labeled ARMY volunteers appeared, and each of them holding their own trash bags. And then they just carefully moved around the area, just collecting not only visible waste, but even small pieces that might have been left behind. So what I found especially meaningful here is that this group was not just limited to Korean fans. It included people from various countries, all coming together voluntarily. So I think this really shows how the influence of BTS goes beyond their music. The energy and message that fans receive from BTS seem to naturally lead to positive actions within the community. So in that sense, the fandom has evolved into something more than just a group of supporters, and now it has become a community that shares values and contributes to society in a meaningful way.
And these are true fans because they reflect really well on BTS themselves as well.
Exactly.
So and all this highlights how the ARMY has grown beyond a typical fan base into a whole community built on shared values and action. It's not just about supporting the artists, but also reflecting the message into real life. And to gain a more in-depth perspective, we're going to speak with an ARMY member who attended the BTS concert. And that conversation is coming up right after the break, so don't go anywhere.
NewsGen wants to hear from you. Go to YouTube and search out channel Arirang News. Click Posts. And cast your vote in the poll. Make a new type of news with us.
And joining us today is Majid, who attended the opening night of BTS's concert in Goyang last Thursday. So hello, Majid. Thank you so much for connecting with us today.
Hi, Sujin. Thank you so much for having me at Arirang once again. And honestly, I feel like I'm part of Arirang family because I get to appear very often, and I love that. And just like how you was saying, I'm a fan of BTS, Arirang, and of you, Sujin. So thank you so much for having me once again.
Thank you for bringing this great energy so early in the morning. So Majid, what was the atmosphere like at the concert, and how did it compare to, I guess, other BTS concerts?
Oh, by the way, first of all, can you guys hear me properly, right? I mean,
Can hear you great.
yeah, because I was screaming my lungs out at the Arirang concert, and especially on the first day, that literally the next day I kind of lost my voice, but I'm so glad that you can hear me fine. So first of all, it was and indeed a dream came true. It was a life-changing moment for me. It was unforgettable moment. So I was one of the lucky ones who get to attend their, the world tour Arirang, and first day that was, in Goyang. So the whole vibe, the energy, the experience, it feels difficult to sum up in few sentences. So, again, maybe some of you know that it rained a lot that day. And we were thinking like maybe they will cut down the show. Maybe, we'll get to see fewer performances, or maybe it's going to be it will dampen the whole, it will lower down the energy of members or the army. But honestly, it was mind-blowing. Like literally they were performing so well. The army, despite the rain, everyone was so full of energy. And I feel like, even Mother Nature, like rain joined and to welcome this whole BTS world tour. So it was such an unforgettable and amazing experience at there.
Yes, thank you for sharing. So what's a BTS fan tradition or concert ritual you've taken part in or seen before?
Okay, so first of all, like Johyun was saying, a lot of people, like people army were singing Arirang song. So, imagine 40,000 people. They are not, I mean, they were Koreans too, but a lot of were from different parts of the world. But when BTS were performing body to body, like everyone started singing Arirang. So that was such a unique experience to see so many people singing Arirang. Secondly, the fan chant. Now imagine 40,000 people in a whole stadium and everyone has to match. And that's the beauty of ARMY. That shows how much they love their artist. So ARMY starts at the same time, Kim Namjoon, Kim Seokjin, and then the whole, stadium starts shouting the fan chant. So that was once again amazing. And the purple wave. So I don't know if you guys have been to the concert or no, but like literally when the purple wave. So it starts from one end and everyone shows with their light sticks, and the purple waves goes to the end. That's also very very one of the amazing experience to see. And oh, by the way, at the end, when BTS were performing Idol, all the members were, down the stage, and they started having a round, and get to see all the army members, very near closely. Like Namjoon was sitting on a king throne. So people were saying like he's not Kim Namjoon, he's King Namjoon. So that was also one of the very unique thing that we get to see at the Goyang concert.
Well, Majid, I think we can feel the vibe from the studio right now, thanks to you. Then, Majid, how has BTS actually influenced you in your life, and what do you think is a secret to their long-lasting success?
Okay, BTS has influenced me in two ways, financially and emotionally. So when I say financially, of course, I spend a lot of money, and I love that. Every penny spent on BTS is worth spending money. I buy like their Army Bomb, I buy their albums, and
Wow.
actually on their concert, I was actually supposed to fly to China. I booked the tickets 3 months ago, but when the concert was announced, I had to cancel my tickets. I was like, no, I want this concert is more important, and I was lucky to get the tickets. So of course, it affects me, it influenced me financially, but in a very positive way, because the memories that I make, last forever. And when I say emotionally, their message, their whole story, their journey, it's a beautiful journey. Like Juhyun was saying, like it's throughout their from start until now, they give a message of self-love or not giving up despite what happens in life. Life goes on, or not today, you should not give up, or love myself. So in some of their songs, they give the message of love yourself. So even if you say on Goyang concert, despite the rain, life goes on, you have to perform with all the energy. So these are some of the messages that influence me emotionally a lot. I get to see if something bad happens in my life, or if there are ups and downs, I get to see BTS journey as my like role model. And I feel like even there are hardships, you get to keep on going. And the reason for long lasting, their influence is one of the things, like as you guys were talking about the army. They don't just listen, they actually take, as and Sujin, you were also saying, like they don't just listen to the music, they take the message and then implement in real life. Like they donate a lot. Like Juhyun was saying, they no wait, Hayul was saying that they even clean up after Gwanghwamun scare. So these are some of the messages that BTS have taught the army, and that's one of the reasons their long lasting impact, and people love them a lot. And of course their talent, they're very fun, they're very down to earth. These are being worldwide most popular artists. They are really down to earth and so much fun to watch them also.
We did talk about, like you said, how great their fans are. And I just say, BTS is lucky to have a fan like you too. And your excitement is just so contagious.
Thank you so much. Thanks a lot. But
Thank you
honestly,
yeah.
yeah, the whole BTS concert in Goyang, it was an amazing experience. And despite the rain, even Suga was saying like it's like a water park. And we started, swimming on the stage because it was raining a lot. But I really would like to mention that one of the best thing I loved about BTS, especially at the concert, was they kept on saying that please, army, be careful. It's raining a lot. It could be slippery, so please careful when you are going home. Like, they were so careful for the army. They kept sharing their love and support that please be careful, be careful. So they're so sweet, and that was one, lifetime unforgettable experience.
So I guess they're not only good looking, but they're also very considerate, which is another plus,
They
I
are.
guess. Anyways, Majid, thank you so much for sharing your experience with us today.
Thank you so much. Thank you. By the way, you guys all look beautiful in purple dress. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So we just heard from a BTS fan and concert attendee what the concert was like, fan traditions he has taken part of, and what he thinks is the secret to their longevity. And with that global momentum in mind, all eyes are now on what comes next for the group. So as BTS members enter a new chapter of their career, what lies ahead of them?
Yes, of course, obviously. Well, beforehand, Majid's this interview was like a testimony for me. So exciting, and I feel the vibe from here. Well, the Goyang concert is only the starting point. The tour will continue across the world, concluding in Manila, the Philippines, next March, with 85 shows in 34 different countries, cities that is set to become the biggest tour in K-pop history. Well, the tour is expected to draw millions of fans worldwide, and with each member having grown through solo activities and military service, expectations are even higher for what they will achieve all together. So all eyes are now on what kinds of records they will break next, and at this point, the only limit is there isn't one, so they're writing history right now.
Right, so it will be exciting to see how massive this tour is going to be. And the level of global demand is already proving to be quite extraordinary, as we saw from Majid as well. So how strong is the global demand for BTS tour right now, Hong-Yun?
Oh yeah, so we are already seeing just how strong the global demand is. So for example, in Mexico, all 3 scheduled concerts sold out in just 37 minutes.
Wow.
And following that, Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum even made a public request to President Lee Jae-myung for additional BTS performances. And I think that really shows the scale of their global influence. And with this year-long tour taking place across so many cities, it is likely that BTS will continue to grow even further as artists and performers. And by the end of the tour, many people are expecting them to return with an even more refined and complete presence. At the same time, what makes their journey particularly interesting is not just their big scale, but it's the way they maintain a sense of authenticity and connection with their audience. So there is a lot of anticipation around what kind of music and content that they will bring in the future, and how they will continue to engage with their fans around the world. And lastly, in line with the message of their latest title track, Swim, which represents continuing to move forward without stopping, I think many people will keep watching their journey with excitement and support as they move ahead in their own way.
Right, so BTS's journey shows that longevity isn't just about staying relevant. It's about constantly evolving while staying true to who you are. From their music to their message and their connection with fans, that consistency has been key to their lasting impact. And if anything, this next chapter feels like less like a continuation, more like the start of something even bigger. And that brings us to the end of today's episode of News Generation, but News Gen will be back tomorrow at 10:30 a.m. Korea time with more stories and discussions. A big thanks to Hyun.
It was my pleasure.
Thank you for coming, and also Jiyeon.
Thank you for having me.
And to our viewers, thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you'll keep swimming with BTS through their next chapter. We are News Generation.